Don't you just love it when you've got these Islamic people that come into this country and try and take over? And then also you have lots of these people on social media nowadays that are part of the Free Palestinian sort of movement, which I think is honestly insane. We need to free the Palestinian people from Hamas. That's like a no-brainer to me for people that have a little bit of common sense or a brain. But nevertheless, you've got all these people that have made this massive movement a actual terrorist organization movement. They're quite violent, they're quite aggressive, and they don't want anyone that sides with the Jewish people to be around. And so for some reason, these people are crazy. They're not just crazy, they're evil, they're twisted, they're backwards, and they love twisting words to suit their own ideological agenda or narrative. And you have this Sydney based, I mean, I hate saying this because it's like I grew up in Sydney and watching what's happened to a a once great city is really a shame. We've let far too many people into this country that don't actually love this country, and it's a shame. It's a shame. It makes me very unhappy. It really does. I am a proud Australian. My flag, my anthem, everything about this country that makes this country what it is, I love. And yes, it also means having the Australian culture, the Australian life, the way of life. I really do miss the old Australia. I really do. Sure, people can argue, oh, what about the new Australia? Look, I grew up in a multicultural society, and I love my friends because they also grew up here. They're of like Filipino, Arab heritage, doesn't matter. And I loved it. I really did. I thought it was like very much part of this way of being Australian in many respects. The difference was back then they came here and they assimilated. They all decided to work hard, espouse the Australian way, and also mesh in with their own culture. And it worked. It was fantastic. And unfortunately, nowadays, you've got this person, Sydney based jihadist, Asala Sayara, declaring that suicide bombings are a justified form of resistance against colonization. Every form of armed resistance has a right to exist. She has called Australia a colonial power. So she's implicitly calling for those people that decide to carry bombs and then blow themselves up. She's effectively calling for that in Australia. Have a watch.
I think the question should be not about the legitimacy of resistance. The question should be about the legitimacy of the colonizer. And the colonizer does not have a right to exist.
Yep.
So in saying that, every form of resistance has a right to exist, whether it's everyday acts of resistance or armed resistance, because it is internationally recognized that an oppressed people have a right to resist, including armed resistance.
I hear this narrative on a frequent basis, pretty much saying that Israelis are the colonizers of the Palestinian people, except they're not colonizing jack shit. They haven't colonized anything. Like, these people love to say things, but they don't really know much, if anything at all. And if you really want to say who the actual colonizer is, if you want to use that terminology, you could say that Hamas is the colonizer. Look at what they're doing. I don't even think they know what colonizer is or means. You're effectively saying that Australia is a colonizer or a yeah, a colonial power. Like the woke mob loves to throw out these terms, but Australia is not a colonizing power. Good grief, that is nuts to me. To say that Australia, of all places, Australia that gives you the right, gives you the privilege, sorry, not the right, because we don't have a right to say these things. We have the privilege, has given you the privilege and the freedom to be able to say these things. As horrible as they are, you're probably not going to be investigated at all. Saying that any form of resistance, whether it's armed resistance, the bombings are justified. That's wrong to me, especially when you have no idea what the hell you're saying. So you want Australia to look like your culture. That's exactly what she's saying. Because apparently being a white person or being someone else is so wrong, so twisted, so backwards. We're the problem, evidently. Not her. Oh, but guess what, guys? Any form of resistance. So that would mean if you take over and then when we decide to resist you would consider that to be justified, would you? Two can play that game, can we? Let's go along with that sort of narrative, with that thought process for a moment, shall we? Yes, you calling us the colonial power at the moment, or Australia as a colonial power, and implicitly calling for the bombings against its people. You're nuts, woman. You are nuts. And the Australian Federal Police Social Cohesion Unit going to take any action against this thing? Meaning the woman? Probably not. I suspect they're more likely to act against anyone who criticizes her. Yeah. Because apparently this kind of speech is allowed, but if you criticize her speech being against me or just Australia, that's wrong. Make sense of that one for a moment. Believe you me, I've been trying to, and it's been hard to make sense of it. This woman, she needs serious help. But it's not just her, right? So there's this video that I saw as well of waving the Islamic terrorist flag. And the young man has got no idea what it is. But once again, colonizer narrative comes up. Have a watch.
Flag for the Islamic State right near Westminster. I mean, we've had an attack in the past few weeks, and now we have someone wielding an Islamic State flag. Modern Britain confirmed that that flag there is a flag for jihad. So we're going to go have a look and ask them why they would fly that flag. I mean, there's the Palestinian flag and then there's the jihad flag. Two very different things. It's a very interesting flag.
Yeah,
what does it mean?
Declaration of faith. Basically, it means there's no God but Allah, and his prophet is Muhammad. That's it.
It looks a lot like the jihad flag to me.
Nah. It's just a declaration of faith. That's it.
It's the Saudi flag, but it's just black.
Why are you here today at the protest?
We're here to show the government they need to cut ties with Israel. We want no more. We want Palestine to be free.
Free from what?
Free from Israel.
The troops have come out just a couple days ago, so it is effectively free now. Would you?
Yeah, it is, but obviously the original whole land, even where Israel is now, that was all Palestine's land anyways. So you want the land back.
Right, okay, so where are those Jews going to go?
Where they came from. They went to Palestine. They were somewhere else before.
Where
I'm not
were
too educated
they?
on the history. I'm not too educated on the history. I'll be honest, but obviously speak to someone older that knows the history. I'm not too educated on it. But all I know is Palestinians are getting killed right now, and yeah. So we're here to...
So you're happy for the Jews to be removed from Israel?
I'm very happy for that to happen.
Okay, and how would you want that to happen?
God knows, innit? I don't really know.
Interesting flag. That's the jihad flag. And he's just also called for the obliteration of all Jewish people. That's what's going on in the streets of the UK.
Young man flying the jihad flag. Oh, it's just the Arab flag, but black. It's the Islamic flag, but black, man. So what? Flag's black. Nah. The Palestinian flag and the jihad flag, I would argue, are one and the same. They're both very, very similar to me. They both have a very similar meaning. You're waving it in this country or the UK, wherever. You're not calling for peace. You're not calling for free Palestine. You're making a statement to the entire bloody world. It's amazing to me how we can't fly the Australian flag without being called racist, bigots, or far right. And it's our damn flag in our country, but yet they can fly whatever flag they bloody well choose, and that's fine. And they're not apparently far left. They're not communists. They're not terrorists. They're none of that. They can burn our flag, and that's fine. They spit on everything this country stands for. And I hate that. You have this young man that's got no idea what the flag represents. There's no idea about the history. I'm not too educated on the history. Go find someone else that's a bit older that is a bit educated on the history. So you had that young woman initially calling for people to essentially bomb this great country because apparently we're a colonial power. And then you had this other young man essentially saying we've got to wipe out all the Jews. Sickness. Do you think it's a sickness or do you think it's something else? An evil, perhaps. Anyway, let me know in the comment section what you guys think, but that's enough from me. You guys take care, you're blessed, and I'll see you all in the next video.